All right, so I knew the minute I saw the quote from Ian that this was going to be controversial for everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you come from. I knew everyone was going to have an opinion about this, and I'm sure you guys are too. So make sure you get down in the comments below and tell me what you think about this, whether you agree or disagree with anything I say in this video or anything that Ian McKellen has said. We got Gandalf over here saying that queer actors should come out and get into the sunshine. And as positive as this sentiment is, I just knew for a fact that in our community, in the gay community and the queer community, there was going to be a lot of voices pushing back on this, trying to make him feel bad about it because people feel very passionate about coming out and what it means. And I have an opinion about this as it's probably going to be controversial as well. So make sure you stick around to the end so you can get mad at me. But before I talk about this or give my opinion, my own personal opinion, I want to make this statement to try and make it clear that I understand that coming out for anyone, whether you're gay, bi, lesbian, transgender, whatever it is, it's very personal, and you and only you should be the person to make the decision about when you want to come out. That should be your decision. So nothing that Ian says or that I say or anybody else says should affect your own personal decision about when you want to come out to the world. But I do have my own opinions about it. So let's read this article and then talk about that, and I'll give my opinion on all this. So again, it says that he urges actors to come out and get into the sunshine. The British actor, best known for appearing in the Lord of the Rings films and as Big Bad Magneto in the original X-Men trilogy, came out as gay himself during a 1988 radio interview with the BBC. I'll be honest, I didn't know that that was when he came out. I knew it was a long time ago, but I didn't know specifically. That is wild. It is crazy that he came out in 1998. I have to give him credit. That's crazy to me. But here's what he's still here. He's still working and stuff. In a new interview with the Times nearly 40 years later, McKellen has shared his feelings of sadness that other queer actors don't feel able to live their truths even today. He goes on to say, I have never met anybody who came out who regretted it. I feel sorry for any famous person who feels they can't come out. Being in the closet is silly. There's no need for it. That's the controversial statement, because he is talking about actors, but when he says being in the closet is silly, there's no need for it, I think some people probably took personal offense to that, specifically because of various reasons, and we'll get into those in a minute, why people may not want to be open about who they are. Don't listen to your advisors, listen to your heart, listen to your gay friends who know better, come out, get into the sunshine. Almost every night, everything in my life changed for the better, my relationships with people, and my whole attitude towards acting changed. The queer icon came out to protest then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher's proposed laws that criminalize the promotion of homosexuality to local authorities. So that's really boss shit, right? That is like standing on business when you're like, I'm going up against these laws that would make me existing a criminal by telling everyone that I am in a time when there wasn't a lot of support for queer people or gay people. I think it's offensive to anyone who is like myself, homosexual, apart from the whole business of what can or cannot be taught to children. So this is what is another controversial part of it here. Apart from the whole business of what can or cannot be taught to children. I know people have some opinions about that. We're not going to get into that here, though. He admitted that getting older was a nuisance in an interview with BBC Breakfast, that he had no plans to retire. That's really the end of his statement. So let's talk about all of this here. So the parts that I think are the most controversial. So when he says being in the closet is silly, there's no need for it, I don't think that's an accurate statement. It's one of those sort of fun comments that you make when you're saying like, oh, you shouldn't be scared. Like, why are you scared of roller coasters? They're safe. You shouldn't be scared of flying. Maybe now you should be, but people would say you shouldn't be scared of flying or going swimming in the water, the swimming pool, when you think there might be a big shark under the water. You shouldn't be scared of those things. It's like one of those, like, it's irrational to be afraid of those things. But I don't think that's a fair assessment of people who are in the closet. I think there's a lot of people in the closet, not just actors, but people who live in environments where it's just not safe for them to do it, for them to be open and out. Maybe they don't feel that it's safe, or maybe it's legitimately not safe. But either way, like, they feel like there's not a reason for them to be out in protecting themselves, basically, feeling like they need to be careful. And so I understand that. That is a fear. And that is something that we have to address in a serious way. And looking at where we are in the country right now, I think it makes sense for people to be concerned about that. Whether you're somebody who's younger that's trying to come out, or you're somebody that's older that's still in the closet, those things may very well affect you. And so I don't think it's silly. I think silly is sort of a flippant way to address people's concerns about coming out. And when it comes to actors, there's a lot of actors who are probably open and out to everyone around them, but just not to the general public. And again, I think they should make those decisions themselves. Like, that's something that they should decide to do themselves, just like any other person. Now, here's where we get into my own personal opinion about being out. I have been out since I was a teenager, since I was in high school. So I've been out for a really long time. So for me, it's not one of those things where I'm necessarily worried about what people think of me or whatever. But I have a lot of friends that are not. I was dating people who were not out, in my 20s and stuff. And there are people that I know now that still aren't out. But here's where I have an issue with it. And again, I want to reiterate before people start like coming at me. You should decide when you want to come out, okay? Regardless of what I say here or what Ian says. But it's unfortunate that we don't have more out people, because more out people would push back against the marginalization of the community. So it's a catch-22 situation. People don't feel safe to come out, but if more people came out, then more people would be safe. So it's one of those things where if we show up and we're a number and we're counted and we're represented, then it makes our complaints more legitimate in the eyes of the law and the government. You know what I mean? So you have like 10 people who are in the closet that are conservative, that are sleeping with guys and watching RuPaul's Drag Race. But when they step out of their house, they're making laws that go against their own best interest because they're not out. They don't have to worry about it. They don't suffer any of the ramifications of being a gay person existing in the world. I think about that a lot, and I'm like, that's not really fair for everybody else. Like, it's not fair for me or other people that are out that you have these closeted people who are going in and making laws that make things more difficult for me. Because we talk about, like, should those people be outed? Should people out them? Like, is that okay? Is that right? And I don't even have the answer to that. I don't know. Ultimately, I would say, yeah, I would love for them to be outed, because then they could no longer, use the government as a shield. They could no longer make laws that come after trans people and gay people. Maybe they should be. But then that goes against my belief that everybody should come out when they feel like they're comfortable coming out. So I don't really have the perfect answer for it. I really don't. But I think there is a legitimate concern for people who are in the closet that don't feel safe coming out. And we should not minimize that. That's not something that we should go, hey, that's silly. So Ian, love you, love your work, love your activism. That's great. But I don't think we should be telling people who are in the closet that it is silly for them to be concerned about their well-being. I think that's the wrong message. I do wish that more people would feel comfortable coming out, but we'll see if we get there.